two legends of the game, two huge legends of the game, done amazing things club-wise, amazing things international-wise. But if Cristiano Ronaldo is Argentine, what does he achieve? What is he able to do? If Lionel Messi is Portuguese, what is he able to do? What is he able to achieve? If roles were switched, are we having a different story or the same story? Let's talk about it. So this has always been something that's always been interesting, because I think I remember someone mentioning this on a question like months and months ago, and I thought, you know what, end of the month, I thought, let's do something that will, create a little bit of discussion on the community, man. So Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, amazing thing, what they've done club-wise and everything. What if they switched? So what if they both switched? So there's of similar age, I think there's like 1 or 2 year differential, both born in like the late 80s. So they pretty much they're literally of the same generation. But what if Messi was Portuguese and had that Portuguese team of in 06, playing the Euros, playing the World Cup with that team in 2014 and everything? And what if Cristiano Ronaldo was Argentine? So he had that team, you saw in 2014, had that amazing team in 06 and everything. So it is interesting. It is interesting to see, because again, they were of different developments at different stages. So I just want to know, would things have changed? If Cristiano is Argentine, is he a World Cup winner? If Messi is Portuguese, is he a Euro winner? And is he a World Cup winner as well? Let's have fun. Let's talk about it. So before we let's just do a little good background look. I think this was the one thing that was missing from Messi's repertoire. I think this was something that was hanging over his head. People just say, you've never won the World Cup, never won the World Cup, never won the World Cup, you need to win the World Cup, blah, 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 And even though he won the Copa America, finally won for his nation, people say, no. To get into those GOATS convos, you have to bring home that WC. And people say, oh no, this has ended it. It's finished. It's done. I don't want to hear anything with Messi Ronaldo anymore. He's won the World Cup. He's defeated Cristiano. There's nothing more to discuss. But then people now come out and say, you played for Argentina. You are lucky because you've had a much better team. Whereas for your boy Cristiano, he's had a much tougher run. And he's had it harder with Portugal. I want to investigate that. And of course, because again, for me, I'm not counting the Nations League. I'm counting the Euros. Cristiano, he contributed to the Euros. But guys, guys, I'm not here to pander or anything. I'm here to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to help me the Lord. Cristiano contributed to the Euros, contributed to Portugal's first ever trophy. Argentina had won several Copa Americas, several World Cups before that World Cup in 2022. So this was Portugal's first ever trophy. Cristiano did not help them in that final. He was injured through no fault of his own. He contributed nothing in the final, and we're not counting cheerleading as contribution. So it's tricky. It's tricky. It is tricky when we discuss this, when you do not really have any kind of true viable contribution towards helping your team say what's up in that final. But he still contributed to his country's first ever trophy. And that in itself is a dub that, let's say, Messi can say. Because Messi, you contributed to the World Cup, they already won the World Cup before. Contributed to the Copa America, they don't won the Copa America before. This was Portugal's first ever trophy that Cristiano contributed for. But the difference, though, is Messi contributed in that final and made a major contribution in that final with help from Di Maria and Emi Martinez, but he still contributed in that final. Cristiano had zero contribution in that final. And people will say, oh, if he had played, they would have definitely won. We don't know. If he had played, I don't think Eder comes on. I don't think Eder plays. Or even if Eder plays, based on just how the nature of how that goal came through, does Cristiano score that goal in the way that Eder does? We don't know. If it goes to penalties, who knows? So if Cristiano had played, Eder doesn't score that goal based on just the dimensions of how Portugal played because they played through him. So we just don't know now. But whatever the case may be, let's go to Dubinsky. So when we're not discussing this about both of these guys, I think that, so you say, okay, Argentina, like Messi has had it easier because Argentina are a better team and a much better team than Portugal based on their previous success. Let's investigate that. So Argentina's first ever, now I can't remember their Copa America, so I don't really want to count Copa Americas. I want to just count the World Cup. I think that's a big thing. Oh, they never won the World Cup, but Cristiano would definitely win the World Cup if he had the kind of teams that Messi has had. So when you look at the World Cup, the Argentina's first World Cup was in 1978. I think it's Aussie Adiles, which was hosted at home. And as I've always said that, there's always a home nation tax when guys win it. I'm like, you need to win it somewhere else other than your home. Hence, with England 66, it's a bit tricky. And France needed that second dub from the dub in 98. So, but the key win was this one. But you have to understand this 1986 win. You see, the 22 Argentina team were one of the best teams at the World Cup. And that is an extremely good team, which is literally a dynasty. I don't mean no disrespect to Burruchaga or the guys that Maradona played with. Those guys were fruit sellers. They sold fruit. And as everyone has said, it is the greatest performance by an individual at a World Cup. It is the greatest floor raising we've ever seen at a World Cup. It is the closest thing to an individual single-handedly dragging a team to World Cup victory. And I just feel that the existence of just Maradona being on that team elevated everyone's performance because Maradona was an otherworldly figure where just by his mere presence, even if he did not play well, just by his mere presence and his character and his aura, it's lifted up the entire team, which was just the kind of greatness of the guy. So this was not a great team. So you cannot say, oh, Argentina have always been an amazing team. No, the team in 86 was not an amazing team. 78, that's home nation tax. So the only thing you can say is, okay, 22, that was a good team that they had. But I'll respond. So Portugal, as I said again, I think in 66 they got to the semis. I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. See, I'm trying to use my ball knowledge here. You know how a guy scores and they grab the ball and put it on the halfway line to pretty much get things going? I believe that Eusebio was the first player to do that. Of where he scores, his team is down, and rather than just waiting, grabbing the ball from the goal, running, putting it on the halfway line. Because that was just a very iconic moment. I don't think anybody had seen that on a large scale, a player doing that just to get things going. And since then, anytime a team is like 3-0 down, 4-0 down, when you score 4-1 or 4-2, grab the ball, run up to the halfway line, let's get things going. No time to waste. So obviously Eusebio was Portugal's first superstar, and he's one of the greatest players of all time, one of the greatest players in his era, specifically in the 60s. Benfica, I believe? I'm not sure, I think so. But after Eusebio, you had to wait a long time. 70s, 80s, 90s. And then, let me bring my boy up in this piece. And I think I've said it many times, one of my favorite teams of all time was that Portugal Euro 2000 team. Shout out to Rui Costa. I think Conceição was there. Sapinto was there. And of course, one of my favorite players of all time, Luis Figo. That was an amazing team. That was 100% capable of winning those Euros. Crazy game. Go do your Googles on YouTube. Crazy game against France. Huge, massive controversy. Someone said that Javier with the handball. Crazy controversy. So that was an amazing team. And I think that I think 70s, 80s, and 90s was a bit of like a down period for Portugal. But when you look at the 2000s, 2000, 04 Euros, World Cup in 06, I think that's then you had Manish coming in through. That was a very talented team. And I think in 06, they were very capable of at least making that final because that was a very good team. And it was a very close loss against the Zidane-inspired France. So Portugal have had quality teams. And I would argue that even when now look in the 2000s, 2014, 2018, those teams were at least good enough to at least gets to at least a quarter or a semi, which they didn't in 2014, because it happened in 2014. No, that happened in 2018. So that's my issue there, man. So let's have the convo now. If Messi's Portuguese, what happens? And this is what I'm trying to explain to people here. So if Messi is Portuguese, does he win the World Cup with Portugal? I feel that I look at, so '06 he would have been too young. I think it was, remember '06 he was like literally on the bench for that Argentina team. Amazing team led by Riquelme. So I'm looking more at 2014, 2018. I feel that that team in 2018 was a pretty solid team. And I feel in Messi, which is what I'm trying to explain the difference between Messi and Cristiano, that Messi, you don't just have a goal scorer, you have a creator, you have a disruptor, you have a guy that is sort of like, he's bringing the ball from deep and he is creating and doing more in a football game. You see, like Cristiano is much more of a consequential play. He's much more of like the end game. Messi leads on to the end game. He can be consequential and he can create and he can pass. So you put Messi in that Portugal team. Do they win the World Cup? Probably not. They get to at least the semis. 100%. I believe that Messi would bring more value to the Portugal team. Because I remember watching that game in 2018. Portugal against Uruguay, where Cavani scored that two-piece. And I was like, okay, Cristiano, you've just come off winning your third, you still do something. But I was watching the game, I was like, if you give Cristiano the ball, what is he going to do? He's not going to dribble. He's not going to advance the ball. He's not going to make a creative pass. He's not going to make a little chip pass over the top, like waiting for the right back to make a run from deep and over cheap. So as I was watching the game, I was like, Portugal are screwed. They probably need someone else because giving the ball to Cristiano, there is not much that he's going to do in the ball in a creative sense. So watching the game, I was like, unless you're going to make a play for him to finish, you're not going to get anything from him. So you've got to create something for him to finish. But just giving him the ball in the halfway line or giving him the ball just over the halfway line and say, help us. But for Messi, giving the ball anywhere, he can advance the ball. He can make a side-splitting pass. He can switch the ball somewhere else. He can now advance the ball, run and everything. So there is more you can do giving Messi the ball anywhere on the pitch for him to actually help you as opposed to Cristiano 2018. Now, Cristiano '06, you can give him the ball anywhere and he can cook. Or even 2010, but especially '06, give him the ball anywhere he can cook. But in 14, specifically 18, nah. So that's my thing. I think that Messi would do more. But what is missing is there is no Julian Alvarez. There is no Di Maria, who were key players. Julian Alvarez freaking shone at that World Cup. Di Maria, as I've always said, there's an argument made that Di Maria might be the best big game player of his generation. I'm going to put it right now that Di Maria, pound for pound, he is the best big game player of his generation. 100%. His record at finals and big games is outstanding. So he's the best big game player ever. So Portugal, we're not having those guys, but I still feel like if Messi, he provides more and he gives them more. So let's switch it now. So if Cristiano is Argentine, what happens? Now, 2018, I'm not sure he does much in 2018. Because remember, we're doing a swap. So if he's Argentine, Messi's Portuguese. So if we're looking at 2014 and 2018, you don't have a superb creator in that team. So you're taking away Messi's creativity, because even if Messi didn't really show up in 14 or 18, he did create. Remember, he created that winning goal for Di Maria against Switzerland in 14. He was able to create for Aguero in that game against France. So you take away the creator. So for me, 14, 18, I'm not sure what Cristiano does. 22, he's too old. Where things get interesting is 2006. Because remember, Cristiano's first thing that we know of him was in 04, where he was this amazing wonder kid doing crazy things. 06, he was like, oh, the guy's here. I remember 06, he was a starter for Portugal. That team that Argentina had in 06, that was an amazing team. 06 is interesting because you may not, so you don't have Messi, he's Portuguese. You have Juan Roman Riquelme. You have Tevez. You have Crespo. You have Max Rodriguez. For me, I would say that 06 team was a freaking amazing team, and Riquelme was one of the best players at that World Cup. You do have France. You do have Germany. You do have Italy. That was when the world was right. That's when Italy was Italy. Germany was Germany. And you had guys who were titans. But you put an 06 Cristiano on that team with Juan Roman Riquelme, I think things are interesting. Do they win it? I would like to think that even if that Bozo, Peckham, and takes off Riquelme against Germany, Cristiano would have done something with that team to help them win. So, okay, so they beat Germany. I don't think they beat Italy. I don't think that they beat Italy. So even with Cristiano on that team and how good it was in 06, I don't think they beat Italy. So Cristiano's best chance of winning the World Cup was in 06 with that Argentina team. If they run into Italy, I don't think they beat Italy. Because I just think that as good as Cristiano was as a dribbler, attacking player, so it's almost the sweet spot. If you had 2010 or 2014 Cristiano in the 06 Argentina team, I think there's a great chance of them winning it. But we have to make it align. So I think if you look at 06, I just think that against Italy, they don't run them close. So, again, just to round things off and everything, they swap. They do a swapperini. Do they end up winning the World Cup for the respective nations? I say no. They don't. I don't think Messi wins the World Cup with Portugal with that Portuguese team. Because as talented as that Portuguese team was, and it was talented, no Alvarez, no Di Maria, no Emi Martinez. So if it goes to penalties, where's the Emi Martinez? Where is the striker that is doing the striker job in Julian Alvarez? And when it comes to the big game, the massive game, where's your Angel Di Maria? But Messi does more. I think that Messi in 2014, in 2018 goes further with that Portugal team than Cristiano does. Because Messi in 2014 2018 just offered more as a complete player than Cristiano in 2014 and 2018. For Cristiano, I think 06 would have been his best chance based on just how amazing that team was. And for me, I'd say that based on just pure talent, the talent on display, that Argentina 06 team is better than pretty much. I'd say that Argentina 06 team is maybe comparable to the 2000 Portugal team, but it's better than any team that Portugal have had from like 06 onwards. So 06, so when Rui Costa and Thingy left, from 06 onwards, yeah. So Cristiano in that 06 team, he can perhaps say something. He can perhaps say something, and that would have been his best chance based on just how good that team was, plus also how good Cristiano was in 06, because I'm taking 06. People will say, oh, this is crazy. Put it this way, 2014, 2018 Cristiano in the Argentina team, okay, you have an amazing finisher, you need more. But in 06 Cristiano, even though he's young, I think just how much of a complete player he was, and just how excited he was as a winger, I think he does things interesting. But again, see, it's so tricky. 06, more complete, but he did not really reach his full peak of when he was the best, which I think Cristiano his best was 08, 09, 2010, 2011, 2012. But if you look at 08, 09, 2010, 2011, 2012, that Argentina team was in no shape or form ready to say anything. So even if you bring in Cristiano 2010, Argentina 2010, nah. That team with Cristiano 2010, nah. They're not doing anything on the World Cup. They're simply not. So again, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. If they swap, I don't think neither team wins the World Cup. So then you then say, well, Messi is lucky because he has the superior team. But then I flip it. Cristiano, this is the best way. Cristiano, where he is right now. So Cristiano 2022 with that 2022 Argentina team, do they win the World Cup? No, they don't. and it's as simple as that. And anybody that disagrees, you're crazy. 2022 Cristiano with that 2022 team, so it's like for like. Do they win that World Cup? No. 2022 Messi with that 2022 Portugal team, they get past. They beat Morocco. Then, of course, they run into France. And they probably lose to France. But it's much closer. So, and what you've seen is that even Messi in his older age, is still going to offer more. So Messi, 2022 Messi with 2022 Portugal, they beat Morocco 100%. Messi offers more and will offer more value, or that team for them to beat Morocco. Then, do they beat France? Tell you right now, that's touch and go. That is touch and go. And they don't meet France. So basically, if Messi is Portuguese, they are most likely meeting. They're probably meeting. Wait, who are they? They're probably meeting like Croatia. So wait, who did they play in the quarters? They're probably beating Croatia or Netherlands in the final. Then So that's the so. My thing is, maybe they meet Argentina in the final. Who knows? But even if they meet, because that was still a very good. See, if you take Messi away, that's still a very good Argentina team. Even if you take Messi away, but so let's say Messi it was Portugal and they miss a Messi-less Argentina. That match could go either way. But the moral of the story is, and this is what I tell you about the Messi Ronaldo thing. Messi has always been the more complete player. The more complete player is always going to offer more value to any team that he's on. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're definitely going to win, but it's going to offer more value. So when Messi in 2022 on Portugal 2022 team, which was still a pretty good team, is going to offer way more value when you give him the ball. But as Cristiano has grown older, he's become less and less and less valuable. As Messi has grown older and older, he's lost his strength and lost his physicality, but he's maintained his value. He's maintained his volley intelligence. He's maintained his passing. He's maintained his creativity. He's maintained when he knows how to dribble. So that value still maintains. But Cristiano's value, as he's grown older, has begun to decline. So when you do the swap, Portugal would gain more. And this is the main thing. And people don't like to say this, but this is what it is. Portugal would gain more having Messi than Argentina would gain having Cristiano. Simple as that. So again, they swap, neither wins the World Cup. Basically just the dimensions of what those teams were. So Cristiano said, well, but the notion that if Cristiano was Argentine, he'd win the World Cup is false. That's a lie. Now, winning Copa America, sure, 100%, probably. But winning the World Cup, if Cristiano was for Argentina at any point during his timeline, they'd win the World Cup with Cristiano's value? No, it's not happening. Simply, it's not happening. So that's my thoughts. Tell me what you think. I'm sure people will be angry. People will be pissed off. People will be like, oh, you're a hater, this and that and everything. And guys, the key question is that I'm here. This is the home of football analysis, and I'm just here for football truth. And if you're here for footballing truth, you know deep down that everything I've said has been complete and total fact-seeing. Think about becoming a Football Hut member. If you're a desktop merchant, just click on the join button below, over here. Or if you're a mobile phone merchant, just click on the join button below the video over here and join the true elite content crack addicts. Peace.